So today I have in my hands is Tremfya, and this is the reason for the video. So I want to get into the backstory of me, and there's a lot to me, just like there's a lot to anyone else. We all have our own story. But I just wanted to actually record because this will be my first injection. I am someone, and I'll explain this in another video, that did everything I could to just slow down my psoriasis, and my hope was to cure it naturally, holistically. I feel like mind over matter, right? Through faith and through healing your mind, you can heal your body and prevent sickness or heal sickness. In my case, that has not been the case. Once again, I'll get into it in another video, but what brings me here today is ultimately the Tremfya. So I was prescribed or informed of many different treatments along the years that I continuously turned down. The reason I turned them down was I just didn't believe I needed it. I felt like, yes, I have this condition, but if I have this, I should be able to cure it. Now, doctors will tell you and the internet will tell you there's no cure for psoriasis. But as someone living with it, I can tell you I'm basically health-wise at the worst I've ever been. The way I look, the way I feel, my vision is affected, my speech is affected, like my voice. I don't know why. I'm not saying this is all due to psoriasis, but I do know my psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis has gotten worse, progressively worse and worse, and it spreads. And I did put some stuff on me today, but the minute I put on anything that rubs against my skin, this is how it's looking again. I basically have it everywhere in my body, completely 100% on my scalp, on the sides of my face, as you can see, in my ears, in my nostrils. I have it on my back, arms, legs, just everywhere. And I really feel nervous. I feel nervous not because of the pain, because the pain of the injection, I mean. Having the Tremfya is an injection, so basically I am new to all this. I did do my research, but at this point I'm pretty much at my wit's end, and I hate to say that I'm giving in to something that I was so against. Like 100% thought I can do it without the need to take a biologic. Being that I was diagnosed with psoriasis when I was around 14 years old. And so that's over 20 years for me of living with this condition. And at times in my life, I was able to manage it, but it always affected the way I felt physically, emotionally. It affected my mental state, because I believe anyone that has an autoimmune condition, you all or we all have different symptoms. For me, whatever it is that lives inside my body or is miscommunicating in my body, it's a 24/7 ordeal, meaning I feel basically fatigue and pain in everything that I do, even speaking now. As you can see, my voice is raspy. But again, we'll get all into that in another story. So I basically took this out the fridge. I will just tell you that the insurance or the whole approval that is needed, pre-approval, you even have to get testing before you get the prescription. There's just a lot that goes into it, and I never even knew, because anytime I would be prescribed some sort of like systemic or biologic treatment, I wouldn't even take the prescription. I would say no. I remember one time, this was years ago, I went to the pharmacy with whatever prescription I had at that point from the dermatologist, and I was looking to pay like up to $2,000. That was with insurance. And so ever since then, I said, there's no way. There's no way I'm going to get on any medication for this. But here we are today, years and years and years later. And I'm physically at my worst, meaning how I feel and how I look. So it's everything all at once, just came crashing down. And it's been like this, I want to say, for like the past 2-3 years. Now they say psoriasis is like triggered by stress, but right now most of my stress is not feeling good, meaning if I feel fatigued, it stresses me out to get up and do things, which of course I have to. All the symptoms I have, I will share with you all, because maybe there's someone out there that has this condition and has a whole list of other symptoms. Now, I am familiar with, if you have one autoimmune condition, you can have multiple. And so that's basically where I am at this very current state. I would never in a million years go on camera looking like this, and I feel terrible today, but I need to do this. I need to face my fears. That's another thing. Living with this condition has instilled so much fear in my daily life. So much. I'm just fearful to eat anything that will trigger it. I'm fearful to think thoughts that can trigger it. I'm fearful to be stressed that will trigger it. Even something simple as like being stuck in traffic is stress, so can trigger it. And I just feel like that's nonsense. After all these years, there's still not a cure for this and many other conditions and diseases. I don't like to say that I have an autoimmune disease. I say it's a condition. To me, it was always meant to be temporary. But 20 plus years, I'm not willing to accept that this is a permanent condition that I will be living with. For many years, no one, up until like my late 20s, no one would ever think that I had an autoimmune condition or a skin condition, because I never showed it. But now, almost 60 pounds heavier, and it being like everywhere the sun touches, I can't deny it. I've never denied it to myself that I had this. I just didn't share it with everyone. The reason being is, even times where a patch of skin would appear or the, rash on my face was visible, people just question you. And it's not that I get offended. It's just so much to explain, and to just want to live a normal life and go about your day with not having to explain to everyone what this is. Most people don't feel bad when they see it or they find out what it is. They think, oh, well, it's the rash. Well, it's a lot more than that. Another thing is stereotypes and stigmas. Like, for example, if you're overweight or you have something like this, like, why are you not treating it? Or do you not take care of yourself? Are you not a healthy person? Do you eat unhealthy? Do you live an unhealthy lifestyle? Is it contagious? How could you let yourself look like that? But the thing is, I can relate to those that have something we have no power over. I never thought, as a teenager at 14 years old, that when I was told the diagnosis, that it would affect my life completely 100%, meaning the person I am, the way I, interact with others, who I am, like in society, my career, it's impacted every aspect of my life. And I can say everything negative, but that's not what I'm going to do. What I realized a couple years ago, when I realized that whatever I'm doing is not curing it, I realized there is a reason why you have this. Anyways, I am showing myself like this just to keep track of like starting it. Then my second dose will be in 4 weeks, which is 28 days. And then after your first and second dose, you inject with Tremfya every 2 months. So I'm really putting myself out there to just document my experience. I always said like, oh, I'm going to create a YouTube when I figure out what cures my psoriasis and share that with others. But I am putting this video out there to document me taking a biologic to see if it can lower my overactive immune system. Completely opposite, but I'm not discouraged. I have to just surrender and accept the fact that this is just temporary. And hopefully still I will be able to post more about just progress. And I know I'm not alone in this, and that's the only reason why I'm coming on here looking like this, because if I had to surrender, give in to something I was so against, at least I can be a support system, or there is a community out there, and we can just unite. I know there are people that suffer from this in silence, and I can tell you I have for over 20 years. I don't want to be emotional, but the real emotion is not the pain this injection will cause me, but just my feelings towards giving in. It became to the point that I was desperate to get approved by my insurance, and here we are today. So you're not alone. If you have to agree to something that you're against, just know that you still have control of your body. You are still and should be an advocate for your own health. So this is how it looks, and it's refrigerated. I just took it out before I started the video. For me, I got mine from a specialty pharmacy, and I'm just gonna get right into it. We're just gonna do this. I gotta face the fear. Again, not of the needle, because I am not afraid of the needle. I am just afraid of putting something in my body. I know studies have been done, but this is not studies to me enough where we just really know what can happen. And I don't want to expose myself to just other complications just because I wanted to get rid of a rash. For me, this is more than a rash. Again, I have many symptoms. I have many stories to tell, and I am going to just say, let's put this out there. We're going to do this. There's a rhyme and reason for everything, and hopefully slowly by slowly I can just share with you more of my experiences, how I got it, the diagnosis, what it was like, what is like living with it, my mindset on it, and yeah, so let's go into it.